Okay, it is 7 o'clock. If everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. And Shelley, would you lead us? Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our City Council meeting this evening. It's Monday, January the 12th. Let's begin with roll call.
Tom Mikulek. Andrea Zielinski.
Here.
Jason Tate.
Here.
Bruce Smith. Ellen Porter. Katie Williams.
Here.
Zach Wise.
Here.
Shelley Briggs Loosely.
Here.
It's okay. Welcome, everybody. First thing on the agenda is the State of the City address, and this is an opportunity to hear about what we accomplished last year and ideas of what to expect in the coming year. You will see on the screen is the slides that will go with what I'm reading, and I also want to give a big shout out to Suzanne Hurt for putting a tremendous amount of effort in putting this presentation together. So thank you, Suzanne, for all those efforts. So thank you for joining us as we present the State of the City of Roseburg in January 2026. Thank you to the City Council, city staff, businesses, nonprofits, and residents. I want to thank City Manager for her leadership, hard work, and dedication to the city, and I want to thank city staff for their labor, talent, and expertise. We are lucky to have the best local government employees in Oregon. Your commitment to serving our town really shows. And I can't thank you enough, and I ask everyone listening tonight to go out of your way to thank our city manager and her staff and to show your appreciation for their dedication this year. I also want to thank councilors and our commission members who generously volunteer their time, and I want to welcome our newest councilor, Jason Tate. City officials accomplished a major feat last year in developing a blueprint for Roseburg's future growth and addressing our housing shortage. After decades, the city has at last adjusted its urban growth boundary to allow new housing construction in the Charter Oaks area. The land could hold nearly 675 new homes, which would be a critical addition to our housing stock that can make a big difference for many individuals, families, and local employers. That's just one project that will make an important difference in our town for years to come, and I'm proud of everyone's efforts to reach this point. Let's really make this new year count. Let's rely on each other, support each other, and truly collaborate for the good of our cherished city. That takes hard work, open communication, and trust in each other. Here are additional highlights of what we accomplished last year. The Roseburg Fire, Police, and Public Works rallied in response to the March flooding of the South Umpqua River and creeks. The fire department rescued people and animals, while the public works and the police shut down flooded and damaged roads, monitored rising waterways, and provided other assistance to protect the community and emergency responders during the storm. Substantial federal and state grants won by city staff funded major capital improvement projects last year. This completed the outdoor tennis courts renovation, the Brown Parks expansion for universal access, and the Roseburg Airport's completed taxiway extension, and Sunshine Park's trail network expansion. The city annexed 50 acres of Sunshine Park to expand its trail network with Roseburg's first mountain bike trails that will be funded with a state grant won by park staff. The Department of Transportation oversaw a $6.3 million project to strengthen historic Stewart Park Bridge Drive. This is the Great Depression era steel truss structure. 90% of that funding came from the federal government. The urban renewal area was expanded to include the former Rite Aid and Safeway properties in the downtown parking garage. Umpqua Community College launched advanced medical degree programs under a project envisioned for over 15 years after the city won a $5 million state grant. In partnership between the city and the United Community Action Network, the Gary Leaf Navigation Center has transitioned 34 more people into stable housing situations in 2025. The city launched the Roseburg Online Portal, for 24/7 internet access to planning and zoning applications, business registrations, and code violation complaints. The city's website domain switched to roseburgor.gov on January 1st for increased web security. And the council chambers, the aged audio-visual system was upgraded. An overnight warming shelter will operate this winter in partnership between St. Joseph Catholic Church and UCAN, and the daytime cooling resource center operated at downtown St. George Episcopal Church last summer. The number of hypodermic needles found in parks during camp cleanups is falling after the council voted against syringe distribution of any kind on city-owned public property. Roseburg convicted 205 people for prohibited camping last year. Police focus on the prohibited camping in areas vulnerable to environmental damage and places where kids are. A new group, Destination Downtown Roseburg, recently applied for status in the Oregon Main Street program. The city sponsored flower baskets, holiday lights, and the Neowalla Parade to make downtown more festive. We're now believed to be America's longest-running Neowalla celebration. Last summer, the city welcomed sister city visitors from Kuki City, Japan. In September, WorldAtlas.com unveiled Roseburg as second on its list of the 10 best places to call home in the Pacific Northwest in 2025. Our departments: administration, the city manager, human resources director, city recorder, special projects coordinator, communications specialist, human resources generalist, and a management assistant provide vital services to residents, businesses, the mayor, council, and others. City manager Nikki Messenger guides the management team in optimizing operations and tackling council initiatives. She strengthened relationships with community partners to collaboratively solve multifaceted challenges and address future needs involving workforce development, housing, new educational opportunities, and homelessness. City Recorder Amy Nidus, who serves as the elections officer, strengthened citywide records management practices, supported timely responses to public records requests, ensured organizational compliance across all departments, and oversaw public bidding processes, ordinance preparation, franchise agreements, city contracts, leases, and liens. She also helped train staff on the council chamber's new audio-visual system. Human Resources Director John Van Winkle serves as the Risk Manager and Americans with Disability Act Coordinator. He troubleshoots insurance questions and ensures policies and contract language protect the organization and taxpayers' investment. Our hardworking and dedicated staff consists of 155 full-time and 14 part-time employees. Communications Specialist Suzanne Hurt provides the community with an accurate information and keeps people engaged in their hometown. Overseeing the city connection and social media, she grew the city's social media followers to 14,000 by Friday, December the 12th. Stay informed by signing up for the quarterly e-newsletter and following the city on Facebook, Nextdoor, and X. And in 2025, we added a new special project coordinator position, and we welcome Jennifer Bragg to the team. Community Development Department, under the Director Stuart Cowie and his staff, completed 2 major urban growth boundary projects, transitioned permit software providers, and hired a new associate planner. Their top accomplishment was working to pass state legislation authorizing Roseburg UGB exchange and requiring the State Land Conservation Department to acknowledge boundary changes that swap 2 difficult to develop properties inside the boundary with flat Charter Oaks land outside the boundary. After decades of city effort, the UGB swap will allow up to 673 new homes to be built there. Staff processed 26 land use applications, 313 site review applications, including 142 commercial sites and 25 new residential units. Completed construction or projects now underway that were permitted by the city include Del Taco's reopening, Elmer's Kitchen, City Browns Park expansion, as well as the city's outdoor tennis and pickleball court renovation, Gary Leaf Navigation Center storage shed upgrades, Mercy Medical Center upgrades, and a mini-storage facility on General Avenue, plus beautiful murals on Lane and Jackson Streets. Two major projects to amend the urban growth boundary were actually completed last year. The first involved Charter Oaks. The second involved the city annexing about 50 acres of Sunshine Park to gain jurisdiction and build the mountain bike and hiking trails using the $149,000 state grant. The city is collaborating with the Oregon Department of Transportation on two planning projects to support growth and travel safety. One plan that is expected to be completed by spring will identify needed multimodal improvements in the Diamond Lake Boulevard and Oregon 138 East Corridor. Also underway is a plan to accommodate multimodal travel needs at the Interstate Exchange 124 and 125 on Harvard and Garden Valley Boulevard and along Garden Valley Boulevard from Stevens to Stewart Parkway. That project should conclude this summer. The department is also involved with efforts to improve the downtown and Laurelwood parking program and make ACE parking solvent. Community Development also spearheaded the city software transition to OpenGov's Roseburg online portal to offer online access for planning and zoning application, business registration, and code complaints. And by mid-November, the city responded to 224 private property nuisance complaints, cleaned 52 tons from 26 private properties. The city and the county work crews removed nearly 148 tons of garbage from 1,538 camps at 33 locations, mainly the parks and under the bridges, at a cost of $65,281. The Finance Department, for the 32nd year in a row, the Finance Department, led by Director Ron Harker, earned the Government Finance Officers Association Award for Excellence in Financial Reporting for the 2024 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. Other highlights include maintaining the city's credit rating as a high-quality, low-risk AA3 and adopting the 2025-26 budget with full compliance with Oregon budget law and city policies, including the General Fund Balance Reserve. With a 49% case increase in the past 2 years, Municipal Court restructured operations, which allows the court to address a case backlog and to streamline operations to promote efficiencies and enhanced customer support. The library. The Roseburg Public Library, led by Director Chris Wiley, remains a destination for reading and lifelong learning. Highlights included 7,000 cardholders, 114,000 checkouts, 215 programs intended by 7,700 people, 3,500 new items, and 5,300 computer sessions. The library began updating its 5-year strategic plan and expects to complete the project in March. The library used a Libraries Transforming Communities grant from the American Library Association to create new programming for adults with developmental and intellectual disabilities. Staff applied for more funding to continue the work. The Ford Room kitchenette was remodeled and its sound system upgraded with Friends of the Roseburg Public Library funds. And the summer reading program had 328 youth, 61 adults participating. Since the local Dolly Parton program began in 2019, 64,000 free books have been mailed to 3,500 children up to age 5 in the Roseburg area. Public Works, led by Director Ryan Hendricks, the department's mission is to provide quality public infrastructure at the lowest life cycle cost. Its divisions, encompassing parks and recreation, maintenance, streets and storm drainage, facilities, engineering, administration, airport, and water, deliver a range of services and is mainly behind the scenes. The city, partnering with the Umpqua Valley Tennis Center, completed an exciting $2.5 million renovation of Stewart Park's outdoor tennis courts. 11 aging courts were replaced with 8 new tennis courts and 10 pickleball courts, thanks to a $750,000 state grant, a $523,000 in state funds, and a $1.1 million in matching community funds raised by the nonprofit Tennis Center. Brown Park is being renovated with accessible, age-appropriate play structures in a covered picnic area after David and Kelly Trinchero made a generous donation, allowing the city to buy adjoining property, and park staff secured a $667,000 grant. The expansion envisioned 17 years ago will soon be completed. Staff are finalizing the design on a project to enhance Sunshine Park Trails network to include Roseburg's first official mountain bike trails. Construction is expected to be completed this spring, and staff also got grant funding for the design of a proposed Fir Grove sports field turf project. ODOT supervised Stewart Park's Drive Bridge renovation to accommodate modern fire engines. The project included truss strengthening, pedestrian walkway improvements, new lighting, and a resurfaced concrete deck. In 2025, the water plant treated 1.82 billion gallons of water, an average of 5 million gallons a day. Roseburg Regional Airport taxiway was extended 400 feet so larger planes can be using the entire runway without having to perform a back taxi maneuver, improving the pilot and plane safety. The city won $2.58 million in federal and state grants and used only $68,000 in our airport capital improvement fund. Fencing and security upgrades are underway. The fire department. Last year, personnel led by Chief Tyler Christofferson responded to over 7,100 emergencies, demonstrating steadfast commitment to community safety. Of those, 142 were fires, 4,010 were emergency medical calls, 1,052 were public service incidents, and 1,896 were miscellaneous. We welcomed 2 new firefighters and celebrated 3 promotions. During an unprecedented flooding in mid-March, our fire personnel and assisting agency rescued 23 people, 10 dogs, and 2 cats who were trapped by floodwaters that had surrounded their homes and prevented escape. Prevention staff performed 268 in-person inspections and found 546 code violations. They focused on high-hazard, high-occupancy schools, adult and child care facilities, hotels and motels, large retail stores, and assembly halls. Training included live drills on wildland fire tactics and urban interface strategies using Reservoir Hill, and live fire exercises at a soon-to-be-demolished structure. Firefighters completed over 9,000 hours of training, which included electric fire, vehicle suppression, elevator rescues, heavy equipment operations, and vehicle extractions. We deployed an experienced team and apparatus to Los Angeles area Santa Monica Mountains to assist with the devastating Palisades fire last January. The police department, led by Chief Gary Kloffenstein, responded to over 26,300 service calls and took more than 6,500 reports last year. Community service officers handled over 3,500 calls. Staffing continues to be a challenge. They received 211 police officer applications, interviewed 60 applicants, hired 4 police recruits, and have several more moving through the background check process. However, with 2 retirements in December 2024 and 2 resignations in 2025, police have essentially the same number of officers as 2024. All but 3 temporary duty positions have been suspended until staffing levels increase. Police also hired a 3rd community service officer. The homeless liaison officer posted over 1,900 camp cleanup notices on public property by December 1st, and 451 prohibited camping citations were issued from January to December. Weekly camp cleanups are efficient thanks to collaboration between the police, the code compliance officer, parks, and public works. Those convicted of prohibited camping are now fined $100 for the first violation, $250 for a second, and get up to 7 days in jail for subsequent violations to encourage them to seek support to address their lack of housing and stability. The municipal court judge has convicted 205 people for prohibited camping. 23 have been convicted at least 3 times. Police focus on prohibited camping area along the riverbanks and other areas vulnerable to environmental damage and places where children gather. Police purchased additional Axon software with tools such as Draft One, which transcribes body camera audio to generate draft police reports and enables the officers to spend less time on paperwork and more on proactive policing. In 2024, the Oregon House Bill 4002 recriminalized possession of user amounts of illicit drugs. And in 2025, the Roseburg Police arrested 111 people for unlawful drug possession, and our county placed 15 people on drug enforcement misdemeanor probation. Police continue partnering with ADAPT on the mobile crisis team, which responded to 1,596 mental health crises by October. That's an 18% decrease. They diverted many people from jail or the emergency room. So looking ahead, here's what's expected in 2026. Number one, Charter Oaks. Staff will work with the Roseburg Urban Sanitary Authority as they create a preliminary plan and explore resources for sanitary sewer improvements to serve the area and facilitate housing construction. Number two, Stewart Park. A master plan update process will begin this year after community input through a city survey. Number three, water system. The city also will begin updating the water system master plan to pinpoint key improvements to facilitate housing, commercial, and industrial development and to maintain a reliable drinking water system. Number four, the library expects to complete a 5-year strategic plan update in March. Number five, council goals. The city has hired a facilitator and won a grant to continue collaborating on priorities staff and council hope to accomplish together. Number six, homelessness. The council continues exploring effective solutions to address homelessness and prohibited camping, which could include finding property, funding, and an operator for an urban campground. Number seven, Gary Leaf Navigation Center. Staff is working with UCAN to improve operations and increase wraparound services to the homeless. The city just ordered 2 new, larger transitional units for more flexible and temporary housing options thanks to Umpqua Health Alliance grant. Number eight, tennis courts. A grand opening for the renovated outdoor tennis and pickleball courts will be held soon. Number 9 is Brown Park. A state-of-the-art renovation when universally accessible play structures will be done by summer. Number 10, Sunshine Park. Construction on an expanded trail network, including Roseburg First Official Mountain Bike Trails, will begin this spring after the project went out for bid on January the 5th. Number 11, Fir Grove. Staff will work with Umpqua United Soccer Club and other interested groups on improving the field. The funding of $660,000 granted to the city by UHA to address the lighting and ADA improvements. Number 12, downtown. Destination Downtown Roseburg will continue efforts to unite business owners who want to help downtown flourish and grow, while the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians has gotten multiple grants to begin improving a former Riot A building that will be repurposed into a vibrant community asset. Umpqua Community College is moving more programming downtown. UCC is completing renovation of the former Newberry's building, now dubbed the Hawks Hideaway. It has basement, a community space. The first floor is office and programming space, and the upper level is student housing. UCC staff previously working out of the Woolley Center are also relocating to the Hideaway, starting operations in January. Number 13, staff will continue supporting UCC housing expansion and implementing new state laws related to housing production. Number 14, design for a project to rehab Roseburg Regional's airport runway will begin this spring with fencing and other security upgrades ready for construction. The projects are 90% funded by the Federal Aviation Administration with some state help. And number 15, medical careers. The city will continue supporting UCC effort to expand medical career pathways. I'm very proud of all that we have accomplished in the last year, and we simply couldn't have done all of this without working together for the community greatest good. We'll keep coming together as one Roseburg to tackle important projects like these. Our strength and adaptability shine, leading us into a bright future as we move forward, continue to make Roseburg the best small town in Oregon. Thanks. And again, I want to give a big shout out to Suzanne Hurd for all the hard work she put in making that presentation. Number 3, letter B, is commission chair appointments, and it's the same as before. So Public Works is Andrea, Library is Katie, Parks is Ruth, Airport is Tom, Homeless is Shelley, Historic Review is Jason, and Economics is Zach. Number 3, letter C, Homeless Commission discussion.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and Council. What we have for you tonight is to talk about the Homeless Commission. We had talked previously because one of our 5 designated seats had decided to relinquish their seat. That's when you can relinquish their seat. And then in December, we let you know that Umpqua Health Alliance was also relinquishing their seat on the commission. So Chapter 2.20 outlines the Homeless Commission, what their duties are, which includes research current practices related to addressing the needs of the unhoused population, make recommendations to City Council on addressing the needs of the unhoused population, review and recommend to the City Council the terms and conditions for contracts and working relationships with private and public agencies regarding services for the unhoused, and to receive and consider comments and suggestions from the general public and local businesses regarding homelessness. The commission, as it currently sits, has 8 members, including the chair. 5 of those are represented seats from ADAPT, UCAN, Aviva, Umpqua Health, and the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians. 2 members are currently at large. So this commission currently has 8 people on it. All of our other commissions, with the exception of the Public Works Commission, have 7 people. And so the previous discussion was we were just going to remove the UCAN seat and go down to 7. Now we've had another seat relinquished. So we need some direction on what the council would like to do. What I attached to the memo was a synopsis of the Homeless Commission meetings, which started just over 5 years ago, well, right at 5 years ago in 2021. The commission initially had focused on identifying a warming center, and then later they had shifted their focus to finding a location for the navigation center once we had funding allocated by the legislature. They did a lot of work around code changes for prohibited camping as laws have changed, and had commented on things like the tent camping and car camping resolutions that council has adopted. As we worked on urban campground locations, they decided to step away from the conversation about choosing a location due to the difficulty in the decision, the amount of public. Every time we brought a location forward, a lot of public would come out with negative reaction to that, and they didn't want those negative reactions to reflect on their organizations that they were representing, and really felt that that was a council decision. And so they punted the location discussion to council, and that's where that's been occurring ever since. If you take a look through the synopsis, you'll see that the most recent meetings, we've really been doing just a lot of updates from the partner organizations, because there hasn't been a lot of policy discussions to be had since the last change in time, place, and manner. So the discussion comes back to council. What do you want to do with the Homeless Commission? Do you want them to continue meeting? And if so, then what is the makeup of the Homeless Commission, given those 2 seats that have been relinquished? The other comment I would make, this is the only commission that has the term at large. It would make sense if we're going to update an ordinance, if that's the direction that you choose, that we change the terminology at large. That could be anybody anywhere. And so all of our other ones have a geographic location. That's the school district, the water service district, urban growth boundary, city limits, something like that. So you can make it whatever you want. Do you want it to be one of those things? Do you want it to be somebody in the county? I'm assuming the intent wasn't that somebody's in a different state applying to the Homeless Commission, but right now there is no definition. At large is just at large. So depending on where the conversation goes, you may want to consider giving us direction on that as well. So we've given you a few options of what could happen. Once you determine what you want to see happen with that commission, we'll bring back ordinance language to reflect those changes.
Okay, anybody have any questions for staff?
I do. I got a few. When it comes to the agendas for the last year, who sets the agendas for that commission? Is that
So with all the commissions, typically staff pulls those together.
okay? In the purpose portion on here, when you're reading through it, it says research, gather information, and explore options in order to make recommendations to the city council on addressing the needs of the in-house before that portion that you just read. Is that I guess implied that that's supposed to be the members of the commission as well as staff that explores those things and gathers information and does research?
They certainly are welcome to bring that information forward. I think you would find that with each one of our commissions. It's going to have similar types of language. And we do have members that bring stuff forward, but typically staff is generating the agenda stuff. But if there's discussion that comes forward, we can certainly facilitate that.
Okay.
Tom, did you have your hand up?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I'd hate to see, I wouldn't like to see our homeless commission absolved. There's two people that apparently fell out of it for reasons that Nikki mentioned, and seems like they have good reason not to be part of it. But I'd like to see those positions filled and have 8 people on the commission. And I'd also like to say that the people that are on the commission should be within the urban growth boundary of Roseburg, if that could be an aid to you guys. I'd like to see that. But I'd like to see the homeless commission continue, but I'd also like to hear from them about some of these duties and responsibilities. We haven't really heard from them about current practices related to the unhoused populations. And anyway, so I'd like to see our homeless commission continue.
Okay. Other thoughts or comments? Jason?
I would agree with Tom. I would say since I've been on council, I don't know that I've heard anything brought to council from the homeless commission for us to vote on. So I would like that to continue, but I'd also like to see it revamped maybe a little bit with a little more involvement from community members on the council or the commission. So I agree with Tom.
Are
Andrew?
we?
Did something? Go ahead.
I just have a question, sorry. So of those organizations, who do we have left? So UCAN's no longer an Umpqua Health Alliance, right?
Correct.
Okay, but everyone else, so ADAPT still has somebody, Aviva?
In Cow Creek.
In
Yeah.
Cow Creek, okay, so we're just, all right, just had that question. Okay.
I would mention an even number can be problematic. It hasn't yet, but you have no tiebreaker if for some reason there was a tied vote.
One of the things we talked about was having the campsite location come to this group here, and we're still looking for a campsite. The issue is, should we possibly put the homeless commission on a hold until we find a campsite, and then homeless commission can come together to figure out policies for rules for that campsite if we got one. Right now, the homeless commission is doing updates, and that's fine. That's helpful. You just don't want to burn somebody out that's in a agency showing up and just doing updates. So you want to be careful. We went to, instead of monthly, we went to every other month, so that was helpful, so it wasn't just a show up, give it a report, and then leave. One of the things just to think about is it something that we want to maybe consider as put it on hold so they don't just show up and do updates, and we can wait until we get a campsite and say, okay, now we need some rules and we need some policies, and they can be the research for that and bring recommendations to this group. But the real holdup right now, obviously, is getting a campsite, a location, and that's on this lap. It's not on the Homeless Commission's lap. And finding the operator is on this lap also. So just something to think about. We can go ahead and continue. That would just be updates, probably, because they don't have a campsite to give us policies or rules for. Zach, it looks like you want to say something.
Yeah.
You're up.
Are we at the discussion portion then? We can
What's
just
that?
talk freely. It's not just questions at the moment.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
We're just going to see where we go.
I think with what's going on in the community, to pause something like the Homeless Commission, I think is a terrible idea, to be completely honest. I think it's probably more important than ever that it needs to be there, but it just needs to be maybe focused on a different direction, putting it on pause because we are the ones that are supposed to be looking for a campsite or looking for an operator. There needs to be some sort of exploratory stuff that is looking at different programs, different organizations, different models. We have no concept of a model. We have no idea what we're going to do. The Gary Leaf Center worked, and it is a good execution. I think that's been a wonderful thing, and nod to everybody that was involved with that. That is fantastic. Start to it. This next version of it, just throwing a piece of land, we're going to continue to hit brick wall after brick wall when it comes to the community as long as we approach it without any sort of plan first. And I think finding a program or an organization to even just model ourselves after is important. In that purpose, it says that research, gather information, and explore. And there are lots of programs nationwide that I think we should be exploring and having conversations. And I think that's where the Homeless Commission needs to be there. Having those conversations. I also think that those seats, as much as I think it's important to have somebody local, those seats still have to be approved to get somebody on there. So if somebody from Eugene wants to jump in and have an opinion, I don't see personally an issue with that. If they bring resources to the table or ideas or concepts, something that we're not solving ourselves, I don't have any issue with at large when it comes to that. I also think that those seats that are designated towards different community members or organizations, I think making it just for them, I think is also part of our problem that we have going on. Opening them up, I think all those people that still are and want to be a part of it are valuable resources. They should absolutely still be here and sitting at the table. But I think opening up those seats to anybody to potentially apply for them, I think we're missing out on a lot of potential opportunities of input and ideas and conception of ideas. There's a lot of people in the community that do want to help and want to have a voice.
Okay, anybody else? Andrew?
Well, at large, I really would like to see a local at large, just because we are who we are. And I think it's also important to the people who serve on the Homeless Commission understand the problem, maybe are somehow connected to the people who are living unhoused, because I think you're going to have a lot more, opportunities to learn from people and within our community as well. So I would say the school district would be so anybody who lives in our school district, so that's outside of the Roseburg boundaries, but still, and there's a lot of unhoused students, so I think that's important to have access, and if somebody wants to serve in that capacity. And I do think it's important to work on the problem, and look and see if there's other resources out there and people who are maybe have ideas and that kind of thing. And if somebody from Eugene wants to come down and talk to the Homeless Commission and give ideas, or even anybody on the commission, if they want to reach out and find out what other cities are doing and that kind of stuff. I do agree that, we aren't I'm not smart enough to figure out this problem. If I had the magic wand, everybody would have a place to be and everybody would be safe and there wouldn't be people living in tents. But I don't have a magic wand. So we need help, and we need help from the community. And I think it is important that we continue talking about this.
Okay. Anybody else? Let me get Katie and Shelley, if you want to chime in.
Yeah, I agree with Andrea a lot. I think, well, and everybody really, I think it needs to continue. I would like to see at least one of the empty spaces filled with a local person. Like, I like the school district idea too.
Okay. Shelley, did you want to chime in?
I hadn't really thought about the school district, but that's a good option. We need some direction. We've kind of, as you noticed in the reports, have had reports at the meeting, so we don't have a real something that we're working on, that we can work on. So if this pause or rebooting will start that, then I think that would be a good option to keep trying and see if we get more community involvement with what we can do, and then bring it back to council for feedback, and then the campground is council.
So it would definitely be helpful if we continue to be able to provide some direction to the Homeless Commission in terms of this would be helpful stuff to research and bring back to us. And we got to be careful that we don't just say, go find a campsite, because it's like, no, they said that's not what they're going to do. So let's not push it that direction. We got to figure out something else that is beneficial that we could use and they could help us out on. Andrea, looks like you had something to say.
Do we for sure have somebody who would run an urban campground if we found a place? Or is that something that the Homeless Commission can work on, is finding a community partner that would help facilitate? Is that something that they can do? Or are there maybe programs?
So they can do outreach. That's going to be a contract. That's going to go through a city process that staff's going to be involved with, obviously. All of these things that it says the commission does, staff provides that research generally, or provides help on where to do that research. And we are consistently continuing to do that research, looking at what other groups are doing. Don't actually see a lot of urban campgrounds. I know Grants Cliff Pass is actively trying to close theirs, so, but I know they're not talking about urban campgrounds. So they definitely have connections into, like you said, social services that provide services to a lot of that community. So they may know who the players are in a way that we don't.
Right. And, sometimes people just have, even though there's so many nonprofits in our community that offer services, a lot of times it's hard for people to connect. So is there maybe looking into better ways to get people? And I know that Chavez every single time hands out information and does encourage people to find, get access to all the resources. But maybe looking at better ways to connect our unhoused to services, programs that might be working in other communities, like mentors or. So maybe it's not about an urban campground. Maybe it's more about how can we help serve our unhoused to help get them to the programs that all of our nonprofits are working on solutions for. I don't know. I'm just spitting out ideas.
I understand.
Well, for myself, I mean, a lot of great ideas. I align with Zach and a lot of his thought. And he spoke very eloquently on that, much better than I. But I see the commission as being something that's just not just driven by a urban campground. Those have been kind of very skeptical as far as how useful or how effective they are. I think, like you said, other areas looking away to going away from that. So I love the commission to come to the table, even if it's not for that purpose, but for other ideas, branch out further than that. Because I think the problem's much bigger than just the urban campground. I think there's a lot more that needs to be talked about and addressed and reached out and researched on. So I think we've only kind of dipped our toe in there a little bit. So I want to go a little further.
So what I'm hearing is that we want to continue with the homeless commission. Somehow we need to provide guidance for what they need to do the research on to bring back to us. And also we need to define that at-large position to be within the Roseburg area, not just any old place in the U.S.
And number of members.
What's that?
And the number of members.
Oh, and the
that
number
we're
of
gonna-
members, yeah. Zach, you're up.
Am I still on? There we go. As far as the boundary, I mean, I know I said at large. To be completely honest, I'm indifferent to that. If we can come up with anything, I just don't think there's a necessity for it since there is already an approval. But if we want to put a boundary, I'm all for that. I think Andrea and Jason, you're both right. There are more issues to this whole thing than just where somebody stays. So the urban campground being the primary focus of it, I think a lot of what we're looking for is we're looking for a program. We're looking for a modality of how we're going to approach something like homelessness. And I personally have my own issues with calling it just homelessness. I think there is more issues going on to all of it, and connecting to resources is a huge portion of that. Just being able to help navigate through those. There's a lot of factors that come along with that. And there's a lot of programs out there that are modeling stuff like this. There's Built for Zero, Housing First, the Houston model, Family Promise. There's a bunch of nationwide programs that I think we should honestly, if we don't have ideas ourselves, be looking out to those and going, what can we do to get that information into our homeless commission and have them start considering that stuff so that they can sort through what may work for the Roseburg community and then move it up to the council from there. All of which we can still continue looking for an urban campground because that's not going to change anything, but at least we'll be doing something that's possibly helping be really a solution, because just moving them is not going to solve anything either. And then as far as the seats go, I'm going to be a firm believer in an open door is going to invite more people than a closed door. So keeping that door open to people and having as many seats as possible. I think right now when we're really starved for ideas, it's necessary to have those doors open.
Yep. Anybody else? Nikki.
So, all great information. One of the things that I tried to guide us to at the last work study that we didn't discuss at all was resources. And so we're going to have that discussion about how much resource we're going to put at this thing if we want this commission to be able to say, okay, we think we can do this model. Because you cannot have one without the other. All of those larger cities you're naming have a resource base. We don't. So at some point, this group has to come back to that resource discussion, because we didn't spend any time on it, and it was one of the 4 things that I had targeted for the last work study. We have to talk about that. We have to talk about what resource are we willing to put towards it or not, and that can start guiding then what can we do with that resource. So way off topic, I apologize, but the reality is this group can't come back and go, hey, we want this. I mean, Umpqua Hearts brought us ideas. It was $6 million, right? So where does that money come from? It's got to be, and that was 3-4 years ago. It's going to be more than that now. So resource is still a question that you all have to answer at some point, and how that becomes sustainable in the future.
Can I ask a couple clarifying questions? Sir? So when you say the resources, you're talking about...
Talking about money.
No, I understand that, but I'm also talking about, I think this is kind of shows as far as those different programs that I mentioned, which aren't cities. I know it's called the Houston model, but it was based off Houston. The actual program's called The Way Home, because it's been adopted by many cities other than Houston. Houston's just the one that pioneered it. Those different models all take different amounts of resources. A lot of them, like Built for Zero, actually is a collective program of bringing together many of the local resources and centralizing them under a hub. So you're actually trying to maximize the use of your current available resources. So yes, I agree, but I also do think that figuring out what modality or what program we want to at least approach so that we know how many resources, because I agree with you, like money is going to be a necessity no matter what. But I think even it doesn't cost more than the city staff time that's already working to bring that stuff to them and have them start exploring, have the homeless commission start exploring those different programs, different ideas of what version we want to go start moving towards. Am I correct in that? It wouldn't cost us more to just keep exploring.
I think that's well, I don't know that, I don't have an answer to that. I'm not going to answer that.
Okay.
Because you have to have an idea what those resources are. So there's
For the larger programs, right? That's what you're talking about?
well, even if you're bringing stuff under an umbrella, whose umbrella? So I don't want to, sorry, I really derailed this, Mayor. I just wanted to bring up the point that is one of the key things before you say this group's going to work on it. I believe it's a key question. You think it's a question that comes later. I guess we don't agree on that.
Yeah, that's totally cool.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else? There's no suggested motion here, but they want some direction. Do you need a motion, or you have enough from our discussion?
I definitely don't have
Can,
enough.
can I ask a couple of questions and maybe that will help?
Yeah.
So does council want to stay with the same number, the 8, that is currently on the commission? Is that where everybody wants to stay, with 8 members?
Well, didn't you say everybody else is 7? We added 8 because we added the Cow Creeks. So now it's probably a good time if we want to put it back to 7 so we match everybody else.
The advantage of 7 is you don't end up with a tie. So having an odd number, you could do 9 or you could do 7, but 8's a problem because you can end up with a tie. So we just need direction on if you want to stick with 8 or if you want to go to an odd number and which odd number you want to go to.
And 7 is what everybody else has except for the Economic Commission
Public
or
Works.
Public Works.
Well, to avoid that problem, maybe we should go to 7, just so we won't have a tie.
I'd actually rather see us go to 9, just to have one more voice, 2 more voices, whatever, however many more voices. But I think that Zach is right. The more people that are committed to it, the more we're going to get from it.
Where are we at? Jason, you're up, and then Andrea.
Oh, I was just going to agree. I think we should go to 9 also.
Okay, Andrea?
I guess my concern about going to 9 is that the Homeless Commission has had a problem with everybody coming and attending the meetings, and so there hasn't been a quorum. I feel, we should see maybe how many people would apply, but let's be realistic. I would like to see 7. We could always add more if we feel like there's a huge outpour of people who want to come to the table, but I also want them to be able to get things done. If people don't come to the meetings, they can't get anything done. And so I think we should think about that as well. And so I'm leaning towards 7, and then like if they're knocking down the doors to be on the commission, then we can revisit that.
Okay, how about if we just raise your hand? If you want 7, raise your hand. If you want 9, raise your hand. So let's just say if you want 7, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want 9, 2. Okay, so we're going to go 7. Next thing to lock in is the at large.
So if everybody's good with the school district idea, why don't you just raise your hands?
So that's school district boundary. Okay.
Yeah.
Any others?
I think that does that provide you with what you need?
Yeah, so we will end up removing those 2 named seats. So we'll have,
You'll need 1 seat.
no, we'll have, one's the chair. sorry. So we'll still have ADAPT, Aviva, Umpqua Health Alliance, and the chair, which is Counselor Briggs Loosely.
And
then-
Cow Creeks.
Didn't I say that? ADAPT, Aviva, Cow Creek, the chair, and 3 at large.
Yep. I can't hear you.
UHA went out. They're not any longer.
Aviva, ADAPT, Cow Creek.
Okay, I thought I heard UHA in there.
I probably did. I apologize, but
okay.
Aviva, ADAPT,
And
and the Cow Creek Umpqua Tribe are still in their seats.
Right.
The
Okay.
chair is still a city councilor, and then there'll be 3 at large.
Okay.
But at large being one,
Being
School district.
within the school district boundary.
yeah, okay.
One more thing up, and that is, should we look at, we made a change from monthly to bi-monthly because of the updates. So should we consider going back to monthly or leave it as bi-monthly? That's the question. Something to think about. Jason?
I would encourage us to go back to monthly. I feel like we've gotten so much feedback over the last 6, 7, 8 months I've been on council that this is a primary issue in our community. So I think we need to try to address it as best we can. So I would like to see more ideas come to the table.
Okay, let's hear from others. Where you want to do? Andrea, it looks like you're up.
Yeah, with adding 3 more people to the commission with new ideas, new thoughts, I think going monthly is important to see where we go with this.
Okay. Who else? Tom?
I like monthly.
Katie? Zach?
Monthly.
Shelley?
Well, if we have something to talk about, and yeah.
Okay. So it looks like we're going to head back to monthly. Anything else we need to talk about on the Homeless Commission? Zach?
Is there and I know it's a sticky situation asking for an outpour from the public for any discussion around that kind of stuff. Is there a program or some sort of outreach that we've done for other commissions to be like, hey, we want people's input. We want to get as many people out here as possible to start having, if we're not having planned meetings with ideas that we're going through, I think we should be listening to community members as much as possible. See just what comes through the door. There's a lot of people in our community that are really interested in helping. They might not have all the tools and resources that some of these other organizations do, but it doesn't mean that their ideas are any less valid. They might not know the nuances of how they may work, but I do think until we start having plans, we need to start having conversations with people that are trying to come up with solutions too.
Okay. Anything else? Or are we ready to move on? Okay, got enough direction? Okay. Number 3, letter D, commission appointments. And what we'll do is we'll go down the line here as it is in your packet. So we'll start with the Airport Commission, and Tom, that's yours. Do you have a reappointment?
Yeah, I'd like to, I move to appoint Clint Newell to the Airport Commission for another 3-year term.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. In favor, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Motion carries. The Budget Committee, I asked Andrew to be ready for that one. Do we have a motion there?
Mayor, I move to reappoint committee member Stephen Krimitz, I'm sorry if I said that wrong, to the Budget Committee for another 3-year term.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Next one is Economic Development Commission, and Zach, that's yours.
I move to reappoint Commission Member Teresa Haga to the Economic Development Commission for another 3-year term.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Jason, you have Historic Resource Review Commission.
Yes, I have one. I'd like to reappoint Nicholas Lairbach to the Historic Resource Commission.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Library, Katie?
I move to reappoint commission members Marcy Tassano and Francesca Geyer to the Library Commission for another 3-year term.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Parks, Ruth isn't here. Andrea, can you take that one?
I move to reappoint commission members Kyle Bailey, Robert Grubbs, and Joshua James to the Parks and Recreation Commission for another 3-year term.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. And before I move on, I forgot to tell you, I talked to Ruth and she said go ahead and find somebody to appoint these 3 for her. So we just didn't do it without her knowledge, so she's aware. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. And Public Works, Andrea?
I move to reappoint commission members Bradley Johnson and John Seward to the Public Works Commission for another 3-year term.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, can we pick up the Homeless Commission too, please?
Oh, did I miss one? Oh, I did. Okay, sorry about that. Homeless Commission, Shelley, that's yours?
Yes, I'd like to request to reappoint Michelle Moore to the Homeless Commission.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Did I get them all? Planning Commission is not there. I'm going to nod that we got them all. Okay, let's move to number 4. Anybody have a meeting? Katie, you're up.
Okay, so the library staff gave an update on their programs and projects, and the list of the programs is on their website and their Facebook page. They've launched a chess club for all ages and skill levels, and it's on the first Saturday of each month from 10:30 a.m. to noon. There's no registration. You just have to show up and be ready to have fun. And the library will host the Power of Place traveling exhibit from the Oregon Historical Society from January 12th through February 20th during open hours. The exhibit showcases the breathtaking beauty of Oregon through photos celebrating the state's diverse landscapes.
Okay, thanks. Anybody else have a meeting? Jason?
We had a meeting. You kind of addressed it in your city address. The Historic Review Committee met with UCC. We did a tour of the facility downtown that it now holds the Woolley Center in Adult Education and with the dormitories up top. So if you get an opportunity, please go check that out. It's quite nice. And it still has the inlay of Newberries down right in the entryways. It's pretty nice.
All right, thanks. Anybody else have a meeting? Okay, are there any ward reports? Next thing on the agenda is our election of council president. Now this one here, the rules state at the first meeting, we are supposed to choose somebody to be the council president. And if we don't do it the first meeting or as soon thereafter as practical, I did have Ruth call me and actually asked me if we could delay it because she couldn't be here tonight. Ellen called and said, can we delay it because she also could not be here, possibly later this evening, but she probably won't be able to make it either. So we have a choice to make tonight what to do. So we have 2 people that would like to be present in that discussion and that vote. We can delay it. We need to be reasonable in far as how long does it get delayed. So for us, it would be like the next meeting. One of the issues I think we need to be aware of is if we're missing somebody at the next meeting, either one of these 2 or you, then we're going to end up in that same position where we need to postpone it again. And so it may be a special meeting that we'll have to do to get everybody here. So when we take the vote, I'd like to have all 8 present, or on Zoom. It doesn't really matter if you're on Zoom or present, as long as all 8 have a chance to vote. So I need some direction from you in terms of how do you want to proceed? You can do it tonight. We can delay it until the next meeting. If we don't have everybody, then we'll probably have to do a special meeting because we don't want that delayed too long, but we probably need to have a guarantee that we got all 8 votes in. So I need to hear where you're at. Tom, looks like you were ready to speak.
Yeah, I would move that we postpone until our next regular meeting.
Okay, where's every, give me some more opinions.
He made a
Need a
motion.
motion, so somebody needs this.
We got a second?
Sorry, didn't hear your motion. Okay, you made a motion?
Yeah, that we
Postpone it.
postpone until next meeting.
I'll second that.
And Zach has a second. Discussion. The question I want to make sure that we have in our motion or understanding is what happens one of you are gone at the next meeting for whatever reason. We don't have all 8. What do we do?
Well, for sure we don't have them tonight. Maybe we'll have them next time, at which time we can vote to go ahead and make our decision. But it seems like wouldn't hurt too much to put it off till next meeting.
Okay, so the question still is, if we're missing one next meeting, are we going to have a special meeting, or what's the thought? What do you want to do?
Well, we can decide that then.
I don't think we should. I think we should lock it in and say we're going to guarantee we're going to get all 8, or we're going to have to figure out what to do. So I think we need to be upfront here in terms of are we going to make sure that if we don't have all 8 next meeting, then we're going to wait until we do, or call a special meeting. Zach and then Shelley.
I know it's a thing that I would like to be a part of voting for. So if I wasn't here, I would like to have that opportunity. So I'm fine with a special meeting if by chance somebody's not there for the next ones.
Okay, Shelley?
I think we're setting a precedent tonight by making it all 8, so it will have to be all 8 when we vote. So we have to have all 8.
No, what I'm saying is...
No. If in the next meeting, if all 8 is not here, we will not vote. And they're not on the screen, we can't conduct the business.
Okay, I'm not sure if I follow. What we're talking about is if we don't have all 8 either on Zoom or here at the next meeting, then we'll end up calling a special meeting to take care of it.
However you get 8, that's fine.
We just got to get all 8.
Yep.
Okay.
I think you mean 9.
And me 9. Yeah, we need all of us. It's going to take all of us there. Is that okay? Is that agree, Tom? I don't see. You're the one that made the motion, so you're going to have to let us know what you want to do.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay, so you want to reword that we're going to postpone it today, we're going to have it next week, and as long as we got all 9, we vote, or next meeting, and if we don't, then we're going to have a special meeting to get all 9.
Okay.
You got to say it.
Okay, I move that we postpone the election of our council president until we have a full attendance of 9 people. And if we don't have that required number of people next week, or in 2 weeks, then we will call for a special meeting so that everybody will be present.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on it? All right, all those in favor of that, raise your hand. And it looks like it's unanimous. Okay, so we will have the vote at the next meeting, and if we don't have all 9 of us, we will have a special meeting to make sure we have all 9. Okay. Audience participation. Bernie, it looks like you're up on homeless.
– 3261 Northeast Follett Street, Roseburg, Oregon. Good evening.
Hey, Bernie, would you turn on your mic?
Can you hear me now? No?
It's just barely.
Oh, might have to swallow this thing. Bernie Woodard, 3261 Northeast Follette Street, Roseburg, Oregon. I meant to, I guess you don't speak on the mayor reports on the homeless commission discussion, but I feel that we've been involved with this homeless thing for 6 years in Deer Creek Park. It's a nasty mess. 6 years ago, it was terrible. Then the homeless commission was put together with a bunch of nonprofits, and to me, they were all special interest people that had interest in their own businesses, and I'm sorry if people are offended by that. But what we need on the homeless commission, if that's going to continue, is we need people that pay taxes on properties, and we need people that are involved with the homelessness stuff themselves. Maybe people that are out there in the mud tonight and in the frost in the morning to get answers, because over 4 years we've not gotten answers. What we've gotten is navigation center that has questionable routes to it. We've got the tent camping resolution, and it's taken me over a year of asking and begging to say, hey, what can we do to make some changes here? And nobody wants to bring it up so we can talk about it, so we can make that feasible for the community. We've got a time, place, and manner ordinance prohibited camping that was passed by the homeless commission and came to the council. It was approved, and then somehow all these miraculous maps got put together that threw everybody into Deer Creek Park, into sections, wards 3 and 4. So what that ends up with is we have wards 3 and 4 that are saying, we don't want it in our backyard here. We've got Deer Creek Park is just a mess. To give you an example, a person was stabbed, as you guys probably all know, to death at 60 years old that was living in that camp. A 16-year-old did it. I don't know all of the circumstances of that, and I don't think anybody else does except maybe the police force. But I'm assuming that they was bullied or something along there, because everybody that walks along that bike path are bullied. There's no fence around that. It's all open camping. It's all open drinking. It's all open drug use. It's all those kind of things. That's time, place, and manner. But the problem is those maps were created, but they're not being enforced. And so everybody's being pushed in our city. The people in that camp start saying the police told them to come to that camp. And then I've talked to police officers that said that's the camp. But that's not the camp according to what was approved by you guys. And all I'm asking there is go back and see what time, place, and manner really was when it was approved by the city council, and start having the city staff make sure that they don't create their own maps, because what that does is it takes property owners. And that's where I want to go back to who should sit on the council or on the commission for the homeless. Taxpayers. You need to find people like Sherry Herman, and you need to find the landowners that are down there that are being affected. Our properties have gone down in value for 6 years now, and it's about time that we get thought about, not just everybody else. The problem, though, again, it goes back to there's 4 people or there's 8 people voting in the city council, and so wards 3 and 4 might not like it there, but wards 1 and 2 don't want to vote against the campground in Deer Creek Park, because then it might go up to their place. It may go into wards 1 and it may go into wards 2. Somebody's got to step across the line and say, okay, I don't care what ward I'm in, Deer Creek Park is a mess and we need to fix it. We need to fix the time, place, and manner, and then we need to ask our police officers to enforce time, place, and manner, meaning that the camps get picked up and they leave at 8 o'clock in the morning. Because what happens is they're staying in Deer Creek Park, and then they canvass the whole area. They canvass our properties, and then they either take them over. Last 2 weeks ago, I removed 18 trespassers from the Linda Daly house and properties, because Linda Daly had been sent a citation or a nuisance order by the city of Roseburg that she was going to be prosecuted if she didn't get rid. 78-and-a-half-year-old lady was going to be prosecuted if she didn't get rid of the homeless people on her property. Wow. And if she didn't clean up the messes that they left. Where the messes came from? Deer Creek Park. gravitated up the hill and created these messes, and then taxpayers have to be responsible for it. I'm asking if there is going to be a homeless commission, make sure they listen to everybody that comes forward, and at the same time, get people that pay taxes on there that is worried about their business and they're worried about their properties, because those are the people that's going to make a difference, because we're incentivized. We want to make a change. The people that sit in offices at the top of a nonprofit or something, they don't necessarily want to make a change. They may be a good resource for the people on that commission, but they're not the real good commissioners. So, I'm asking you guys to really make a difference and go to people that can make a difference. Go to homeowners and go to property owners and go to businesses that say, we want to clean up this community. We want to take all those good things that we talked
Bernie, I
about
think that's the time.
and add to it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. And I think we have Michael Jones. Is that still on the screen? You're working on it? Is there working on it? Is there anyone else that wanted to speak that didn't sign up on the list? Okay, so we're going to wait for, hopefully they'll get the individual on the screen.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm Michael Jones, and I'm just observing the council meeting. I don't wish to speak.
Michael, can we get a picture of who you are so we can see you? We can't see you.
He said he doesn't want to speak.
He said he's just watching the meeting. He doesn't want to speak.
He doesn't want to be seen?
He doesn't want to speak.
Oh, he doesn't want to speak. Okay. All righty. Well, thanks, Michael. We're going to move to the next thing, number 6, consent agenda. We have one item, December 8th, 2025, regular meeting minutes. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Number 7 is the resolution for the transfer affecting the grant fund.
Okay, so Ron is out of town, so you've got the B team with you tonight. But what we've got before you tonight is a resolution to do an appropriation transfer in the grant fund. We've talked a little bit previously about a $75,000 grant we received from Umpqua Health Alliance for use at the Gary Leaf Navigation Center. When we programmed the 25-26 budget in the grant fund, all of the funding was programmed in materials and services. And this grant originally was for operation costs at the Gary Leaf Navigation Center, but those have been covered through the state grants that go directly to UCAN. And so they've been fortunate in allowing us to kind of change the use of those funds. And we've been looking at not expansion, but changes to the navigation center, one of which is the purchase of 2 different types of transitional housing that will be placed out in the lot. So instead of the mod pods that we've got 10 of out there, these are larger units that can be either a quadplex or a duplex. Gives more flexibility both in the number of units within that one building, and if for some reason we have a family that comes in, they try really hard to get families somewhere else, whether it's in a hotel or something like that. But if for some reason we have a situation and we don't want folks in congregate because if they've got children or something of that nature, it just gives us a lot more flexibility to have 2 of these units that can be up to 4 people or 4 different units. And so we've ordered those, but those are capital expenditures, and we did not program any capital funding in the grant fund. So this resolution tonight would take $75,000 out of materials and services and put it in the capital outlay fund within the grant fund. So that would allow us to take care of those expenditures for the buildings that are on order right now. So happy to answer any questions for you if you have them.
Any questions? Are we ready for a motion?
I move to adopt resolution number 2026-01, authorizing an appropriation transfer for fiscal year 2025-26 affecting the grant fund.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Number 8 is the tennis center fee modification.
Good evening, everyone. So tonight, what I have for you is a pretty minor change to the tennis center's membership schedule. And this kind of is in regards to the new outdoor courts that will be open soon. In 2010, the council approved the current use agreement and lease for the tennis center. In 2012, the council authorized a 15% fee increase, and then a 5% fee increase in 2017, and a 4% increase in 2019. There's been no fee increases since 2019. Per the 2010 lease agreement, and subject to the city's right to review and modify, Umpqua Valley Tennis may occasionally adjust fees charged for the use of the facilities. Umpqua Valley Tennis Center is required to notify the city in writing at least 90 days prior to any proposed changes in fees. Also, in establishing fees, the city shall consider the condition of the facilities, any outstanding debt, the cost of maintenance and operation, and the existing fees being charged. As I mentioned earlier, the last fee adjustment was in 2019. Tonight, the Umpqua Valley Tennis is not asking for a fee increase, just a modification to their membership. And what Umpqua Valley Tennis is proposing is to be able to charge a month-to-month membership fee for the outdoor tennis courts. Currently, their membership structure is just for the indoor courts, so they want to modify that membership structure to offer monthly memberships for the outdoor courts. Their rate for family or couple memberships for a month would be $45 per month. For a single individual, $25 per month. And juniors 18 and under would be free. There are no financial impacts to the city with this proposal. As I mentioned earlier, the lease agreement requires a 90-day notification prior to making any changes to the fee structure. Umpqua Valley Tennis Center contacted city staff on October 8th of 2025 with these proposed changes to the fee structure. In consideration of these timing issues, Umpqua Valley Tennis requests that the proposal takes effect February 1st of 2026. Options for the council tonight are to approve Umpqua Valley Tennis Center's request to offer monthly outdoor court memberships, request additional information, or deny the request. The Parks Commission discussed this request and fee schedule modification at their November 5th, 2025 meeting, and unanimously voted to recommend the council approve the modification to allow monthly outdoor court memberships. And staff concurs with that recommendation. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have on this.
Question?
Go ahead.
Will you still be able to buy a $2 day pass?
Yes, that is still part of the fee structure. They're working on, they have a court reservation system for their indoor courts. They're working on modifying that for the outdoor courts. So an individual could log on to their website, reserve an outdoor court, pay the fee online, and get a code to get into the courts.
Andrea?
So this would only be for the outdoor, there's a separate one for the indoor? What if you want to do it all?
That's a good question, and I don't know that I did not ask that of the tennis center if their indoor membership also includes the outdoor.
It does.
Okay.
Yeah. If you pay the indoor one, then you can use the outdoor courts as well.
Anybody else? Questions? I'm just trying to figure out the logic of what they did there for the outdoor only member, $25 to, what, that's for the month. If you're single up above, then $71 gets you indoor and outdoor? Is that the logic of what they did?
Correct.
And the reason for that is they're thinking some people just want to do it like summer only or whatever?
I believe their purpose for this is really focused on the pickleball courts and having a month-to-month membership for the use of those courts. But the outdoor tennis courts are also part of that monthly membership.
Got it. Okay. Anybody else? Questions? Are we ready for a motion?
I move to authorize the Umpqua Valley Tennis Center to offer a monthly outdoor court membership.
Second.
A second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Number 9. Any items to come forward? Nikki?
So, back to the Homeless Commission. I thought of another question. Are you all okay if we bring that back with an emergency clause? Because if we don't, that means we get first reading the 26th, second reading the 29th. It doesn't go in for 30 days after that, which means effective date March 9th, which means we're not appointing those empty seats, 2 of those empty seats, until at least the end of March. So if you're okay, I don't want to surprise you with that. If we bring it back and do it all in one meeting, we've got applications right now that we can, if Counselor Briggs-Loosely is comfortable appointing from that group, or we can go back out. But I think right now we can only appoint 1 out of the group under the current ordinance. And so that would get us going faster than waiting until the end of March, or your second meeting in March, basically, to be able to start filling those other 2 seats that we're changing.
Everybody okay with that?
Are people still able to apply between now and, like, people can still apply tomorrow if they wanted to for it, correct?
We don't have it open right now because we closed it intending to fill vacancy, and then we got 2 more vacancies. So
Yeah.
we can reopen it.
Yeah. I would be fine with that if it was open today, so just so people had the opportunity, since we're talking about changing it.
To open it,
Yeah, if it was open.
just open until filled?
Yeah, I don't think that'll be an issue because we got some applicants this last time, but
Yeah.
okay. Are you
We're
okay if we
okay with
fill 1 at the next meeting and then come back? Well, it'll be up to,
Right. But everybody's okay with the emergency for the next meeting?
okay. Thank you
Okay.
for that. And then I'm just going to encourage everybody to do the doodle poll. We've been trying to get a date for goal setting. We got to find those dates. Hopefully those dates work. So if you haven't filled it out yet, thank you to those that have. If you haven't, please go find it. And if you can't find it, let us know and we'll get it back to you again.
Okay. Anybody else? Items? I wanted to check on something. Jason mentioned he's got the tour of the inside of the Hawks building. Is it possible to see if somebody from UCC would give us a 30-minute tour? It doesn't take long, and just kind of nice to see what's in that building, the 3 floors.
Yeah, I can reach out. They of course have tenants, so they have to make arrangements with the students. But yeah, I can reach out to Rachel. I'm sure she'd be happy to do that.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, we're out early tonight. We are adjourned. Good night.